a lot of people ask about an investor campaign, building an investor campaign. Sylvia, do you have a campaign for investors? I mean, no. So let's talk about how to make one. What I could do today is talk about, creating content like video and blog posts that you can include in an email text strip campaign for something like investors. And we're going to talk about creating content and then building a custom campaign. It'll show you like how I'm going to find some content to start, because everything's going to stem from the content. Imagine a funnel, and the funnel is you want to lead the people that you put into this funnel, into this lead funnel, these people that you're attracting to click on your stuff. They want to come for some content. They want to come for some value. So let's first build some content, and I won't take too much time on this, but I'm going to give you a push, and I'm going to do show you how I would find content, and then give you some ideas, and you can think more about what you want to do there. So other things I want to say about this, as you all know, the market is shifting. It has shifted. Everybody's market is a little bit different. Everybody's experiencing it in different ways. I know here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, our values aren't coming down so much, but it's still pretty competitive. It's still low inventory. And now the interest rates are up a bit, and so there you have that challenge to go. So it's just, we're not order takers anymore. The last couple of years, some of us have enjoyed like order taking, and that's over. When people are looking for something on the internet, because isn't that what we do now? Oh, I want to find where to go for this. I want to find where to go for that. We look for content on the internet of people providing that content, and then those are the people we go to. And so that's why everything has to start with content. And then the next thing we're going to do once we have the content is we're going to figure out what kind of drip we can put these people on once we get a lead, okay, for the campaign we're going to build. And again, I'll just do a little bit to give you the idea so that you can keep going with it. You can make this thing as big as you want. And then finally, we'll talk about creating the lead magnet and how to promote that lead magnet, this landing page or squeeze page, to get the leads to put in your funnel so they can start getting this drip campaign, and you can start delivering this content. When I think about investors, what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about, the everyday person who really, wants to start adding to their real estate portfolio, and they really want to understand that. One thing I think this is a good opportunity for is that because the market is shifting, a lot of people are thinking, a lot of investors, especially, or people who want to start investing, are thinking that this maybe could be their opportunity to get into that area. Because honestly, the last few years, investors have, the everyday regular investor has been struggling because it's been really hard to compete get properties unless you have cash. And, and that's just not everybody's situation. So I think this is a good opportunity for investors to get into this market again. So first of all, I'm going to talk about where I'm going to get some content. All right. And I've talked about this a lot, but it's fine. I'm going to talk about it some more. HouseLogic. So what is HouseLogic? So if you are a member of the National Association of Realtors in the United States, you get this. Now in Canada, there's the National Association of Realtors in Canada. And I think you probably are provided some similar content. And that's what I'm hoping, but I don't know. This is provided by the National Association of Realtors, and you log in, and it gives you different options and themes for grabbing some content. So the themes of the month here, the November homeowner must-dos, easy tips to make outdoor space cool, all these different little options. But you can also go in and search for something. So for example, I clicked on these articles here, but you can just kind of search. So if I search, for example, let's try investor and see what comes up. So here's a couple things. 7 time-sucking remodeling mistakes you wish you could erase. So because investors who might be trying to flip might be interested in that kind of stuff. Don't buy that fixer-upper unless you know these 4 things. So that's another one. So let's say I want to grab one of these blog posts, and I want to use this as content in my kvCore. So I'm going to grab this, and we'll start here, and we'll find a couple others as well. One thing about HouseLogic is they want you, when you use their content, they want you to give attribution to the author, and they don't want you to change the copy or modify the copy, and you can't use the pictures they have because they don't own the picture. So we're gonna address that. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna grab this article, and I'm just gonna click and drag to select everything. I just copied. I just selected everything, and I'm copying this content. I'm gonna go to my back end of my kvCore, and over here to the left, you're gonna see Web and IDX. I'm gonna go to Website Blog. And in Website Blog, I'm gonna create a blog post. Okay, so I'm in Web IDX on the back end of my kvCore, Web and IDX. I'm gonna go to Website Blog, and then I'm gonna see my blog post. I'm gonna click on Add Post. And then I'm just gonna hit paste. I'm pasting this in here. Now, you'll notice at the top, it gives the title. And so I wanna delete this, and I wanna put the title up here. I'm gonna try it anyway. Paste it there. The other thing I'm going to do is I don't want this to be at the top. I don't want to be, when this was first published and who the author is. So I'm just going to grab that, and I'm just going to put it at the bottom. Okay. And when I put this at the bottom, I can add here, there's this divider. I can add that divider so that it's there, and then just paste the attribution for the author and when it was published at the bottom here. So I'm happy with that. It's got, okay, so I'm just kind of cleaning this up a little bit. The other thing to do, kind of got to mess with the copy here, is because you've taken, copy from a different source, you kind of got to mess with the copy a bit to make sure it's, just behaving the way that you want it to. This kind of isn't. I'm going to select all this copy, and I'm just going to click on paragraph. What I'm doing here, when I clicked on when I selected all the copy and clicked on paragraph, I told kvCore that I want it to use its own paragraph styles. What that means is this is all built in HTML. Okay, it's built in HTML, and kvCore is converting it to HTML as we're pasting this copy here. And we want it to look good in kvCore, how kvCore likes it. So I just pasted the information in here and selected it, hit paragraph, so that it is displaying the way kvCore likes it, their paragraph style. So that's something to note. I'm going to just go through and look at it again, and I got to clean it up a little bit. I got to explain this to you, because this is something I actually recently learned, and it makes sense to me, and I want to share it with you. Whenever you have copy like this on a website, you have to think about the hierarchy of headings. So you've got the title, and then whatever's at the top, the other kind of title or heading at the top should be one below that. So this title is probably going to be heading 1. So let's make this second heading or subtitle be heading 2. And then we'll make all these bullet points heading 3. That's what we're going to do. So you're just selecting and choosing. Okay, so basically what you're doing is you're telling Google to prioritize these different headings. Next, let's add a picture. Now, we can't add a picture from HouseLogic. They don't want you to use the pictures because they don't own it. So what can you do? Unsplash.com. So this article is about home improvement projects that are going to give you the most ROI, really. Like, what should you really know about your fixer-upper, and what do you really need to know about what you're going to need to do to it in order for it to be a successful fixer-upper? That's the theme. So I'm going to go to unsplash.com. So this is, you can get free pictures here. And so I'm going to just, I'll just type in fixer-upper and just see what it gets me. So up here, it says it shows me these premium images that I can buy. So I could purchase a photo if I wanted to, but I don't need to. I can, just find a picture here, like maybe, this looks like, a home, a fixer-upper home. These are fixer-upper cars. Interesting. I'm going to the other option was fixer-upper, one word. So I'm going to go just click that and see if that changes anything for me. Nope. And then it shows me some images here again I can buy. I'm going to do old house. I'm going to type in old house. Oh, that's fun. Look at this one. Oh, that's a fun one. So that's a free one. And so that's kind of a great one for this, I think. Here's this little cabin. Here's like the interior of an old house. I mean, so I kind of like that. So that fixer-upper one word kind of gave me some better options, I think. And so I'm going to grab one of these. The horizontal pictures are going to work kind of the best. So I'm going to grab this one because I like it. And you'll notice too, it says Peter Herman available for hire. I could give him credit. And because it's a blog post, it's easy for me to do it. And since I got the picture for free, why not? So it says here, say thanks, give a shout out to Peter. It's this little document. It's copying. I'm just going to click this. Click. So I just copied that text, and I'm going to put that at the bottom as well. So that it gives the photo credit down there. Okay. So it's something you can do. And if I want to make these smaller, I can. So I'll make them 10 points so they're not so big. Okay. So that's something you can do. But let's go ahead and add this picture. So I just downloaded this picture and I'm dragging it to my desktop. So this is the picture that we're choosing for, things you should know about before you buy that fixer-upper. But anyway, so I opened this. I have a Macintosh, and some of you might have PCs, but I dragged this picture to my desktop. I opened it, and when I open it, there's like a preview option. It's basically the photo editor that comes with my Mac. And really, it just allows me to see the picture and do some basic changes. And one of those changes are changing the size. One thing you need to know about kvCore and Unsplash is Unsplash, gives you pretty large, high resolution pictures. And when you upload them to kvCore doesn't like that. Their images are too big. And so you have to adjust them. So I'm going into my Mac and I've got this picture open. I'm going to go to the tools for this video image previewer. I'm going to click adjust size. And it tells me that the pixels, that this is a 5,800 pixel wide picture, and it can be much smaller. So I'm going to just make it 1,000. So I'm making it 1,000 pixels wide. Okay. So it's going to be much smaller now, but it'll still be plenty big for what we're going to do. Now that I have a smaller picture, I want to put that at the top of the blog post. So I'm going to click on the image and I'm going to click upload, and then I can drag my new image I just resized right here. And then there it is. Okay. And I'm going to hit save. Now, just because I know I'm going to need this, this image, when I uploaded it, it created a link. Do you see that? It gives you a link. And so what it's doing is kvCore is now hosting this image online for you. And I can use this image for other things. And so I'm going to be using it, and we'll get to that part. So just for now, I'm going to copy this link, and I'm going to save it for myself. And we'll get to that. So what I did is just, I saved this link. All right, so there's the picture. Now I can publish it. One thing that you will want to know is this title may or may not already be taken. What does that mean? It means it has to be unique. What does that mean? Well, if somebody else using kvCore at my brokerage in my region or office, I'm in Epique Realty, West Michigan, according to kvCore. Somebody else has already used the same title because they do the same thing I'm showing you now. I can't use that title. And so I'd have to come up with a new title. And one thing I like to do is I like to say, like, don't buy that fixer-upper in Grand Rapids or in West Michigan, unless you know those 4 things. That way it does a couple things. It helps localize the blog. And people like be searching for that. And it's going to be different than somebody else maybe. So, but you can change it to whatever you want. Okay, so let me just see if it's somebody used that title. Yeah, I'm going to hit publish now. And somebody used that title. It says title's taken. So I'm going to say, don't buy that fixer-upper in Grand Rapids, unless you know these 4 things. Let's see if anybody used that one. Publish. Nobody used that one. So ta-da. All right. So I've published it now. All right. So I'm going to go and let's look at my website and see where that blog post ended up. And you'll see it'll display on the front here. Now, sometimes, so in the front of your website, it'll say show latest blog post. The other place it'll be is if you got my setup like in the last year, this option will say agent. If you didn't do it in the last year, it might just say other still, or if you never got my setup, it probably says other. And under other is where else you're going to be able to find the blog. Okay. But if you got my setup recently, it's going to say agent. Anyway, if you go here to latest blog post and it's not there yet, it will display eventually. But one thing you can do if it's not there yet is click on the most recent one. And then, you know, at the bottom, you'll see our bloggers 49 posts, and you click on all the posts, it'll show it to you there. The most recent blog post will be there. But now what's nice is I've got this blog post on my website, and this URL up here is a link. It is a link to that blog post. I can take this link and I can share it on social media. I'll show you this actually because it's fun and hopefully it works good this time. When you used to do this, kvCore would not display the image. That's what I'm trying to say. It wouldn't display the image. And so it wouldn't create like a link preview, but it will now. So let's test this. I just started this like a month or 2 ago. It started doing it. So I'm just going to put that whole link there. And it did give me link. Sometimes this differs. Sometimes it looks like a squeeze page link, and sometimes it looks like this. But either way, the image is previewing, and it's great. So I can get rid of all this gobbledygook, and I can say some stuff, you know. And how would I do that easily? I will just go here and grab this text here and paste. I can also add some little emojis. Let's see, where's my house emoji that I like? Where's my little house emoji? Okay. Oh, here's a little fixer-upper one. Look at that one. Okay. All right. So let's say I like that, and now I'm going to post it. So now what's nice is the image will preview and people can click on it like so. And it's going to take them right to your blog post. Oh, now it's saying go outside. Yes, fine, whatever. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, so that we just created a blog post. So we created some content. So when we create an email campaign, maybe we have some like 5 tips to get ready for your first investment or something like that. That we have this content already that we can include on our email campaigns, because now we have a link to this blog post that we can share. Now, one time, so speaking of investors, I did with this, it was a lender, and she offered this class about how to buy your first flip. And she was gearing it towards real estate agents, but it worked really well. And those of you in EXP, I invited her to come into the world and do it. And so we did it in the world, and
want to learn more about hometown lenders programs.
And so she was talking about her training and what she was doing, and really she was taking you through the steps and the different like loan options for purchasing an investment. And it's like a 27-minute training she did. And I think anybody could benefit from that. So maybe you have a lender that, you know, has programs that could make sense for first time, you know, investors, flippers, or, you know, maybe the long time ones, you know, and you could do like a training and create a video from it like I did. But let's talk about a video blog post or video content next, about how you might find that. Keeping current matters though, which I've talked about before. Keeping current matters is less about like content about, you know, home ownership and home maintenance and stuff, but it's more about the market and what's happening in the market. And it's always pretty timely. So, I have the version, you know, you can get for like $14 a month, you can get, you know, these blog post access, all different blog posts about the market and what's happening. And you can get education. So every month they do a market report, what's happening, you know, in the market, so that you can, so that you can get educated about what's really happening in the market. You know, overall, the United States really is what it's focusing on, but you can take that information and localize it to your own area, because every area is a little different, but in general, it's giving you the idea of what's happening and why. And so it can be really helpful, and they give you a lot of content as well on that. But if you upgrade to, I think like $39 a month, you can get more stuff. And one of those things is videos. Now, I'm not, you know, you can create your own video content. I just told you I did with a lender. We did a quick little training. She shared her screen or slides, and she talked about how a first-time investor can, you know, flip their first home and what loan programs they could take advantage of. Anyway, so you can do the same thing, but if you know, don't have time, don't have ideas, you can go to Keeping Current Matters. And so right now they have a little video on avoiding the rental trap. But let's say I want to look for something to do with investments, because that's what we're talking about. So I can go here to search video. And I was messing around with this right before this. And so I just typed in investment, an investor, and investing. And it gave this one, Americans choose real estate as the #1 long-term investment. It's just a little video. And I'm going to click on it. It's really thinking, it's taking its time. Hang on. Hold, please. So here's the video. What you can do here is it gives you a generic video, or it gives you a personalized video. What does the personalized video look like? Let's just look at it. So that's the personalize. And how does it do that? Well, when you create your account, you put your personalization profile, make sure you got the logo you want to share and everything else. And so then on this content, it'll just auto create it. Well, I've already downloaded this video, and I uploaded it already to my YouTube channel because I wanted to show you. And this literally took no time at all. Took no time at all to do this, like literally 3 minutes. You'll see when you open this, it's got basically use what it said here on this. I used the same title, and I just grabbed what it said here, and I pasted that for the description. I just added my website here. I could have a squeeze page or something like that, but just for quickness, I wanted to show you how easy, you know. So I downloaded it, uploaded it, boom, it's on my YouTube channel. And now I could take this video and I could create a blog post out of it. And I'm going to show you, or a custom page. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay. So let's go here to, let's do a blog post. Blog posts are great, but you'll notice there's no place to like add a video, right? And so you're like, well, I want to add a video. Why can't I do that? Well, there's no place to do it. So you have to embed a video. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to first grab this title. And again, I'm probably not going to be able to use that title, but let's just give it a shot. So remember, because the title has to be unique and other people might be using the same exact title because they're doing the same exact thing. This little guide, you see these little greater than, less than signs, the two like alligators. That is where we're going to put code in. So I'm going to click here, and that's where I'm going to be adding the code. Where do I get the code? I'm going to go back to my video, and down here where it says share, it shows the embed option. I'm going to click embed, and I'm going to grab that code. I'm going to go back here and paste and save. And there's my video. Would you look at that? I can go back and grab this same sentence, or maybe there's a paragraph there, but right now I just have a sentence. Maybe I can come up with more things to say, but I don't have time. So I'm just gonna boop, do that. And, you know, as far as let's connect today, I could link my Calendly link there, maybe, so people could schedule a call with me. You know, that's one way to do it. Or I could say, you know, search homes here or get pre-approved here. So let me go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to find my Calendly link. And I have this one. It's a 15-minute phone call. So those of you who don't have Calendly, I think it's worth getting, because you can do it for free. You can get one event type for free. So you could just set up like a 15-minute phone call option for free, connect it to your calendar. And anytime you share this, it will check against your own Google or Outlook calendar and see when you're available. And you can set like, when do I want to be available for phone calls? Because you can set like, what are the hours and days and times you're going to be available for somebody to schedule a phone call, first of all. And then on top of that, it'll check against your Google or Outlook calendar. So it says when you're available, so you can do that call. So let's say, you know, so I think it's worth it. Okay. If you want to start using these kinds of tools. So it's free for that. And if you want to add more, then you pay, and it's not too expensive to add more. It's like even $8 a month for a little more, but anyway, okay, so I'm going to add this. Let's connect today. Click here to schedule a 15-minute call with me or with us. Okay, and I'm going to click here to schedule. Boop. And there. Okay. So I've got my title. I've got the little video. Got something to say. I could say more, just don't have time right now. Let's connect today. Click here to schedule a call with me. I could also, now you have to know when they're looking at this, they're coming to a page like this with a property search. They can click on get their instant home value. They can click on get pre-approved if you have that. So everything you really need is already on this page. So I didn't need to keep adding more links here if I don't, more links to the blog post if I don't want to, but I could, I could say, you know, search fixer-uppers here, or, you know, whatever, something like that. Search homes in West Michigan here. But just for time's sake, I'm going to click publish now and see if anybody took that title. Oh, nobody took that title yet. So I got that one. Okay, cool. All right. So now I've got two blog posts. One is a video and one is, we just used a picture. Hopefully get the idea. So as far as the content stuff, you know, there's a lot about, you know, different aspects of investing. Like Andy mentioned, you know, the 1031 exchange, but investors want to know that. And so for right now, let's brainstorm together. Those of you who are with me here, let's brainstorm together what other kind of topics would we want to find content on or create content on? So Andy mentioned 1031 exchange. So maybe some content we can find on like how to do a 1031 exchange in your state, or, how the steps to take, what you got to know, 5 things you got to know about a 1031 exchange in Grand Rapids, Michigan, or in Michigan, or whatever.
I would maybe when a 1031 makes sense and when it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
I had new investors throw that term around, and then I ran some basic numbers, and then I'm like, it doesn't make sense for you to go through that process when you're not going to even be eligible to make any tax benefit off of it.
To have the time frames, because I know that there's like a time frame, and sometimes that window's not realistic with trying to hurry up and find another property.
Right.
So just knowing that, because sometimes people are disappointed when they didn't meet that requirement.
Right. So just, how, and then it kind of piggybacks on what Heather was talking about, when it makes sense and when it doesn't. And, and how, if it does make sense, how to make sure you understand the timeline of taking advantage of that benefit and what that benefit is.
I just talked to somebody who was wanting to be new investment, and I talked to him about how another investor who referred me, how the first time he bought investment property was in the process of fixing it up. And a couple of things that came up was, the first one, I said, well, did the other real estate agent give you a net to seller? And he's like, a what? And I was like, this is a basic document you need to have. And while that seems very basic to us, it was new to him. And then the second thing is when he was flipping the property, while he knew to do floors and walls and all that, he was all like, okay, so I'm going to put the washer and dryer here, and I'm going to put the refrigerator here. And I'm like, no, hold up. I'm like, why are you buying appliances? And he realized that even though it was a lower priced flip property, he didn't realize that was not something that just automatically came with houses.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So the first thing you're thinking of is like what forms, what documents you want to make sure that you have or are addressed when purchasing an investment property. That's one content idea. The other one was like before you're getting ready to sell your flip, what appliances you don't have to have or do have to have. Okay, that's fun.
So when we did our flips, my husband was a contractor, so we didn't have to worry about this. But
yeah,
a lot of people get ripped off by unscrupulous contractors, and so how not to get ripped off by a contractor.
Okay, how not to get ripped off by a contractor when you're doing a flip. Okay, I like it. Bigger pockets over here. It's got like, if you're starting out with working with investors or investing yourself, different ideas for first-time home buyer, investor psychology. There's a lot of great, ideas that came from this when I was checking this out earlier today, biggerpockets.com, and the forums, just looking for different topics that might give you some ideas to create your own content. All right. Oh, Emily has her idea. She put in providing like a contractor vendor list. So maybe you have, your own list of contractors that you could, promote or share, or you could generate leads with like, hey, I've got, the best contractors, most ethical, on top of it, most recommended contractors in Grand Rapids, Michigan, submit your email to get the list. We talked a little bit about a couple places to get content, realtor content resource. We talked about Keeping Current Matters. We talked about unsplash.com for images. We talked about places to put that content, blog posts on your kvCore. Is where we talked about. You could also do custom pages in kvCore if you wanted to, but blog posts work great. Now we're going to talk about creating the drip campaign or getting started with it to reach out to these types of people or follow up with these people. And then we'll end with how to attract them, what kind of lead magnet to create. So now that we've got some content created, and maybe we also found some emails that we could use that were already written. we can move on. So let me go here. I kind of found some emails, and we can kind of maybe look at this a little bit. This is just some basic emails that, you know, your kvCore kind of already has, but we can talk about this. Basically, I found some emails and I put it in this document, and I'm gonna use this to show you as a skeleton how I might build a campaign. All right, so let's just start with actually building the campaign. But what we have to do first is we have to build the templates. So I'm just going to do a couple of them because I don't have time to do a full thing, but it's going to be enough for you to be able to take it further. Okay, so I'm going to go in here to marketing, all marketing and smart campaigns, and now I'm in templates. In templates, this is where we're going to be building those emails and text messages and maybe tasks for yourself, etc. Okay, there you go. All right. And this is where the templates live that you can build or you can create or modify. We've got emails, text messages. Just for fun, let's type in investor here in this email and see what kvCore might already have, if anything. Nothing. Okay. If I type in invest. Okay. Cool. So I typed in the word invest and it gave me some fun things to look at. Let's look at them. So I typed in invest, and there's this one investment properties one, and to see it, I got to click on clone. And says, would you be interested in seeing a list of local properties that might be good buy and hold investment deals? Let me know and I'll send over a short list. Okay. How to buy your first investment property. Okay. If you've ever thought about buying investment property, here's a solid video from Meet Kevin YouTube. I don't know what this, I have to look and see what this is. I'm gonna click on this and see what this is. Like, I don't know if I want to use that. Who the hell's Kevin? I want to make me a my.
You ever seen a wealthy
Who's Kevin?
This is helping.
I might use his video, or maybe I'll create my own, or you know, whatever. Rich Dad video. I listened to this great episode of Rich Dad, blah, blah, blah. Here's the link to listen to it. So it talks about Rich Dad, Poor Dad and why you should invest in real estate. And so it's got, the subject is how to invest in real estate without making mistakes. And then start a home and investment property email with a bunch of stuff in it. So there's some stuff in there. So how I found this is I went to templates, clicked on email, and just typed in invest. Nothing came up for investor. Next, let's look at text message. I'll try the same thing. Invest. And this is, yeah, are you an investor? So this is one of the texts that come with that default buyer campaign. You know, I meant to ask you, are you an investor or are you looking for a primary residence? So these are some things that are already in here in kvCore. You could grab. And I don't know if some of these things I only had access to because I'm an EXP agent, or if everybody in kvCore has using it. I don't know. I don't have a clue. So, but we'll just move on. I just want to show you, there might be some stuff in there you could use. So let's build some of our own though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the kvCore library, and I'm just going to grab the basic default buyer campaign to start with. And I am going to use this as a skeleton. So I'm going here to conversion default buyer campaign. I'm going to click add to my library. Now it's been added to my library. So I'm going to go to my campaigns and find what I just added. And it is the conversion. It's all alphabetized. So that's how you got to find it. Conversion default buyer. Okay. So there's one. I guess I had a couple added. And then let's look at what's in here. I can click on edit, and it's going to say, I wanted to ask you the other day, if you visited our website, are you actively shopping for a specific type of property or looking for something particular? I mean, it's not perfect, but it's fine, whatever. Do you own a home locally? Do you want a property tour, which category do you fit into? And these little campaigns like work. These little messages, they're short and sweet and they work. You can't tell me it doesn't sound like you, because I mean, it's just like 2 sentences. It doesn't sound like anybody. It just sounds fine. So don't worry about that, but you can change them and we'll get into that. What I'm going to do before I get into this, I'm going to start modifying this with just the title. I'm just going to change the title. I'm going to call it Investor Follow-Up Campaign. Okay, or Investor Interest Campaign. And I'm going to say drip campaign for investor leads. That's all I'm going to say about it right now. And I just named it. Okay, so I made a copy of that original buyer campaign. I made and I changed the title of it, and that's all I've done so far. Let's go and build a couple of templates. So imagine you've got all this content that you've created, and you've created some emails, what they're going to say, and you're going to now build out. So I am going to click on templates and add a template. And let's start with an email template. What I can do to make my life easier right now is I can take a little bit of this blog post, this first one we made, and use some of it. I'll just go ahead and take this. I'm going to take this whole beginning, the first big paragraph and title, and I'm going to make this the email, and I'm going to connect it to my blog post. That's what I'll do. All right. So I'm just going to paste this in here. I guess the other thing I should tell you guys, it's not that big a deal, but I'm just going to explain it to you. Sometimes, when you're taking copy from a different program and you paste it in kvCore, kvCore doesn't like it. Part of it is because it likes it fine, it's going to work, but it's just going to look different than other text that's in kvCore. And sometimes you want to avoid that if you want it to look pretty. So I'm kind of a perfectionist myself when it comes to this. So I just want to tell you about this because it's worth it to me. You want to clear the formatting. Just text edit. So in my Macintosh, I have a program called Text Edit. And on a PC, I think you have something, it's like Notepad maybe. And so I'm going to open up, I'm going to show you Text Edit, and I'm going to click on New Document. Oops. And in New Document, I'm just going to paste everything that's here. And then I'll select it, and somewhere you guys can't see this, I know, but I open up Text Edit, I paste this in here, and I can click on Make Plain Text. So I just converted this to plain text, and now I cleared all the formatting. And now I'm going to go back and paste this in here. And so now it just is clean, and it's like how kvCore likes it. So I'm going to select that and click on paragraph. Okay. And now I'm happy. It's clean. All the formatting's gone, and it's going to look like how kvCore likes it. And so now I'm going to just kind of create this email, and I'm going to say, hi, so-and-so. It's going to put in their first name. How do I do that? With a merge tag. So hi, lead, first name. I wanted to tell you about some surefire ways to spot a fixer-upper that will fix you up financially. Okay, and then I'm going to tell this little story that I didn't make up, somebody else did. And I'm just going to make some paragraphs here. Okay. And now, so that's part of it, but I want to drive them back to my website. I want them to get the full article. And so I'm going to go back to, website, and there's like four things. So read about the four things that you needed to know before you buy a fixer upper, something like that. So I am going to grab this link to the blog post, and I'm going to click here for four tips you need to know before you buy a fixer upper, something like that. And I'm just going to select this and paste. I can also make this bold if I want to. Okay. So maybe that's my first email. Okay, whatever you want. We came up with a lot of ideas, but we've got one here. And click on include signature, so that'll ensure that the signature that's in your profile will go with this. I need a title and I need a name of the template. So let's call this investor email. Number one, let's say. So let's say I've got like 10 different templates I'm creating, and this is going to be number one. So I just named it investor email number one. And I can kind of put more about what it is, 4 tips before you buy a fixer upper. That's just my own note for myself. And then I can also use that as the subject line. So four things you need to know before you buy a fixer upper, something like that. Okay, so I've got the name of the template. That's for me. That's an internal template. The subject, this is the subject line is gonna be, and I've got my email here. Another thing I would do in an email, when you're thinking about driving people back to the website, the blog post is going to help. But let's also, for fun, do not a squeeze page, but just a search filter from your own website. So I'm going to go to my own website, and it depends on your MLS, but sometimes a fixer upper can be a type style. So I'm going to get rid of lot and land. I'll get rid of the leases. I'll get rid of pending and contingent and backup, but I'm going to leave the commercial stuff on, multifamily, condo, single family. I'm going to leave the rest of that on. And then down here, I got the option to do like short sales, foreclosures, reduced, fixer upper. It just depends on your MLS, and as far as how much data shows, it also depends on your MLS IDX. But let's just choose fixer upper and see what happens, and see if I get a decent amount. I mean, I got some in West Michigan. I mean, it's fine. I'll go ahead and use that. But you don't have to. You could do like a price range. Maybe your MLS, shows more for like, reduced properties, and maybe that would be the way you want to go, is showing the reduced properties or foreclosures, short sales. But my MLS is not good with this stuff, those financial options. So you might play with that and see what you want to do. But I'll do that. And then it creates this search link up here. So I'm going to click Control A or Command A. That's going to grab that entire link and copy it. And I'm going to paste this in the template. Search fixer uppers in West Michigan. And I will paste that link there too. So that's just another way I might draw people back to my website or keep them engaged. So those are some ideas. So I added that template. I can do the same with a text message. I kind of like this text message. I don't have one like this. I'm going to use it. I'm going to add the template, text template, and paste. Now this little guy, this is not the right format. So I do want to call them by their first name. So how do I do that? I call up the merge tags in a text message with the curly Q bracket. So it looks like that. It's like the curly Q bracket, and it calls it up of what the merge tag fields are. So hi lead first name. It's Sylvia Dana here. I'm going to put lead, no, agent name, agent full name. With, and I like to put the office name for me, because I like my office name in kvCore. It's Epique Realty West Michigan. That's perfect. And so I'm going to find office name. Office name. So it'll say it's Sylvia Dana with Epique Realty West Michigan. I just sent an email, but I wanted you to have my number in case it's easier to call or text. In fact, are there any questions I could help answer for you now? Talk soon. Now, if you don't have your own smart number, if you don't have your own personal smart number that you're paying $27 a month for, just realize when this text goes out, it's going to be texting from the smart number, whatever smart number you're using. And you are all using a smart number. If you're not paying for your own personal smart number, $27 a month, then you're using a shared number. What does that mean? It means if somebody decides to call that number, it can get round robin to another person. If it's your own personal smart number that you're paying $27 a month for, then it's going to just come to you. So just know that. So you can still use these and still have text messages. Just understand what's happening. And you can go so far to say, you can call or text me directly on my cell. I could say, this is my office number, but you can call or text me directly on my cell. And then I can put my cell phone number there. Now I have my cell phone number in my agent profile in the cell number field. So I could just type my cell number here, or I could put agent cell number because it's going to fill in my cell number there, which I'll do. Okay. So I could do that if I want to just ensure that that's going to get to me because I'm not paying for my own smart number. I personally am, but in case you're not. Okay. Now, you'll also see this attached core video link. If you have the core video premium add-on that you are paying $30 a month for, you can include videos you've created or uploaded to the core video premium add-on, which is a bomb integration, and include those in campaigns. If you're not paying extra for that, you can only do 10 one-off video email messages that cannot go in campaigns and cannot be used. Those videos can't be used again. So I just wanted to point that out. If you guys have any questions on that, I do have a video about using core video premium add-on, but I just want to mention that. That's what that is. I was like, let's name this template though. We'll call it investor text. Text number 1. So we created an investor email number 1, and now we have an investor text number 1. Okay, so we created an email and a text, and imagine we've created many more, right? But now let's build this campaign. Let's pretend we've got several texts, several emails. Now let's build the campaign. So we're going to go back to the campaign where we kind of created a skeleton campaign. And we're going to go to conversion default buyer. Where is it? No, we need it investor follow cam. Oh, I meant to say investor follow up campaign. So I'm going to change that because that's what I meant to do. Follow up campaign. All right. And now let's add some of our new text, new email, and maybe you have several that you're adding. So I'm going to just show you how to do it in case you don't know. So I'm going to first add the email. And I got to search for it, and I'm just type investor. There it is, investor email number 1. 4 things you need to know before you buy a fixer-upper. And there it is. And I got to, it's kind of a pain is I got to rename it here. So I'll just, what's the name of it? And I'm just going to put the quick title, 4 things you need to know before buying a fixer-upper. Or I could change the name to investor email number 1. Okay, whatever floats your boat. But this is what I'm going to see down here. Whatever I want to see down here is what you want to put in the name. Okay, from me to the contact. And when do I want this to run? Maybe I want it to run immediately. Maybe I want it to run right after the lead comes in, or maybe I want it to run in an hour. I don't know, but I'll just put run immediately. And that means as soon as the lead comes in, it will go. Okay, it will happen. The next thing I want to do is I want to add the text message we just created. So I'm going to find that investor text number 1. There it is. And we'll just call it, here's my number. Or I can name investor text number 1. But I named it, here's my phone number, that's what it is. And then I could send this like 5 minutes after the lead comes in, if I want to, okay? Or an hour after the lead comes in, whatever. Just know that these immediately and then hour is not always exact with kvCore. Sometimes there's a lag. Just be aware of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say 5 minutes. Now, the other thing I can tell you is if I put like day 1 here, what does that mean? It means the next day. So think about contracts. When you write a contract, let's say you go under contract today and you have a 10-day inspection period. Today is day 0, and then tomorrow is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, 8, 9, 10. And so today is day 0 in kvCore. Today is day 0, the day you get the lead. Okay, day 1 would be tomorrow. All right. So I'm going to say 5 minutes after I send that, I get the lead, and 5 minutes after I send that first email, they're going to get that text. Then there's these other emails. So let's say you've got a bunch of emails and texts you created that you've added to your campaign, but you're also, you think that these are fine too, like some of these emails, but you want to maybe change them or move them around a little bit. So let's look at that. So this text message goes on day 1, and maybe I think that's fine. But I'm actually going to put it, I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it. Like, I actually like this particular text. Okay. But I want it to go, instead of day 1, I want it to go on day 2. So it's actually like, so today's day 0, then there's tomorrow, which is day 1. The day after that would be day 2. So that's when it would go. The other thing, I want to change the name of it because it's not the initial text anymore. What type of property? I'm just going to name this. What type of property are you looking for? Okay. And then now recently, kvCore did a thing on the very first text message that goes out. It'll show like your signature. It'll give your name and your office, and then it'll say to unsubscribe. You know, put stop or unsubscribe. And so on the very first text message anybody gets from you, it's going to allow them to opt out of getting text messages from you automatically. Nothing you can do about it. It's just how it is. And then going forward, what's new also adds a little signature that says your name and your office on every single one at the end. So if I wanted to put anything else here, or I just wanted to ensure they had any other information, I could put it here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some information here just in case. I'm going to just put my cell phone number here. Let's say, feel free to call me at, and I'll put my cell phone number as an example. Oh, I got to rename it. So because I changed something about this template, it says this template cannot be overridden because I'm not the owner. So now I have to name it something different. So, okay, I'm going to name it investor text number 2. So this is the second text. So I've just renamed it. So far we've got our new email we made. Here's my phone number, text. What type of property are you looking for? Text. And then you have these other things here. And again, you can just go in. These are just emails. You can go in, see what it says, make a change if you want to. And because you don't own the template, you'll have to rename the template. That's fine. And just rename it. So now that maybe we built this campaign, we wanted it. Now let's think about some more, like, how are we going to attract people to get this campaign? And so there's a couple ways we might do it. We might do it with a squeeze page. And we might do it with a landing page. So one way, I'm just going to show you both ways really fast. Okay. One way I'm going to show you is if I build a squeeze page, what type of squeeze page might I build? Well, maybe I go and find a property that is a fixer-upper property and I'm promoting that. So how would I do that? Okay, so I'll go back into my front end of my website. And I'm going to look for a specific fixer-upper maybe in Grand Rapids. As an example, this is all kinds of things you can do. I'm just giving you one example here. So I'm going to go, I'll type in, I will do Kent County, that's fine. And then I'll get rid of these things. And let's go to fixer-upper apply. And how does kvCore know something's a fixer-upper? It's based on what's in the description. You know, what people put in the description. So look, so there's a $169,000. So you might have 3-bedroom, 1.5, you know, bed fixer-upper, and you want a Sparta. That's a good deal. Wyoming 169. That's a good deal. I don't know, 249 in Grand Rapids is not a great deal. I don't think 179 Wyoming. Yep, that's a good deal. $695,000 fixer-upper. No, thank you. Okay. And then $1 million property fixer-upper. No, thank you. But I like this one. This is fun because I think it'll get a lot of clicks. So I like this one because it's a cheap one. It would attract an investor, I think. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to grab this MLS ID. And I can create a single property squeeze page to promote this property and attract investors. Paste it. There we go. All right. And so where I'm going to post this, I'm going to be posting this on Facebook. And then let's talk about hashtags. So what we're going to do with this campaign is it needs to run in certain instances. It needs to be triggered. The campaign we just built, this email drip campaign, has to be triggered. And I'm going to trigger it with a hashtag. So I'm going to, and we'll get to that part, but I'm going to trigger it with hashtag. I'm going to create a hashtag right now that I'm going to call it investor campaign. That's what I'm going to call this, investor campaign. That's the hashtag I'm going to give this. The reason I'm not saying just investor is because that's a way to categorize somebody in your database. You could name them an investor with a tag, and you can categorize them. I'm using this hashtag to trigger a specific campaign, and we'll get there in a second. We're almost done. This is like the last big piece. And I'm going to say that immediate. What does immediate mean? Immediate means they have to register immediately in order to see the property. So I'm going to require that. As far as any other hashtags, I might do the property itself, the address. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oops. So I just kind of give it an abbreviation. So 149 State Street. So that way, when the lead comes in, I'll know I got that lead because they were interested in that particular property. So and now I'm just categorizing that lead. So I got this investor campaign that's going to actually trigger a custom campaign. And then this hashtag to help categorize. Now I think I'm done. I'm going to generate the link. I can save this short link and put it somewhere just so I have it as a reference for myself. But I'm going to put this in the URL at the top and just make sure it works. Okay. So there, it's requiring immediate registration. Great. Fine. And then this long link, that short link automatically converted to the long link. And that long link is what I want to use to promote. So I've got that link saved, that squeeze page link saved. The other thing I might do is a landing page, and we'll get there. We're going to do that next, and we're getting really close, and this is kind of going to go fast now. So don't stress. Anyway, so the first thing I did is I created this one squeeze page, and now that I've got that, I've saved it. Now I'm going to create a landing page Because it can be a little more flexible. So I'm going to go back here to lead engine, build a landing page. And I want to show you this very quickly. So I'm going to use this for lead generation. Fine. The hashtag I'm going to put in here is investor campaign, because this is, remember, that's the hashtag that is going to trigger that custom campaign. Okay. And then submit button for text. The submit button for text is what they're going to see here. So what are we promising them? Maybe, maybe in our campaign, we are, thinking about, the different tips for how to buy, how to start becoming an investor, how to buy your first investment home, whatever. But I'll do something like get your, 4 tips, what you need to know before you find your first investment home or something, or fixer upper. I'll do something like that. But let's talk about the headline here. So investors, here's what you need to know about buying investment properties in West Michigan, something like that. And then I can do something else for this subheading, something like free tips for let's say for new and seasoned investors, real estate investors, something like that. Maybe I'll get that. Don't really need that. Okay, here's what you need to know about buying investment properties in West Michigan. Free tips for new and seasoned real estate investors. Now, I can also put some other features here, like, oh, look, I'm going to get you this. I'm going to get you this. Okay. I like all this is good. Actually, it already works for what I'm doing. I can leave this. If I wanted to delete these, or first of all, I could change them. I could rewrite something else here, or I could double click on these and it would delete those bullet points, but I like it. I'm going to leave it there. Then the URL after login, do I want them to go to my blog post that I created, one of my blog posts? That could be the URL they go into after login, or do I want them to go to the list of fixer-uppers? What do I want them to go to? So that's something you can decide. Maybe that you still like, oh, well, I want to create a custom page that gives them information, whatever you want to do. But for ease, I'm going to send them to this custom page that I have about how to buy your first flip, but again, it could be anything that you have, any video content that you have, but you want to drive them to your website, I think, because then you want them to start looking at things. So, and it could be this list of properties, these fixer-uppers, whatever my little heart desires. But just for now, I'll show you how I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put in that Real Estate 101 class. I can also, what's nice about this landing page is it can require a phone number. So that's kind of nice. Now, a lot of people ask me like, well, Sylvia, why can't people put in their name too? Well, you're going to get a lot of names like Mickey Mouse, Marilyn Monroe, Bill Clinton, so just let kvCore verify the way it does, and you will get the name. If it can be verified, it will be. All right. Next, notice the background. The background, it gives you this default, and you can choose other things. Like there's an income property one, there's a, renovation one, these different options already for you that work perfectly well. But what if you want to use your own custom picture? Well, guess what? Didn't we upload a custom picture already using that blog post? And we created a link where kvCore is hosting that picture for us. Yes, we are. So I'm going to use that one because I can show you how to do it. I'm going to go here to custom background, and it's asking for the URL of that picture because that picture is being hosted on my kvCore website. I'm going to paste that in there, and there's the background now. So that's the picture that we used. And all right, so it's going to say investor campaign, submit button text, see the list now. I'm going to say get the info now. Okay, get the info now. And then it's going to go to my website. It's going to that blog post or whatever, require the phone number. Good. Okay, the lead type is going to be a buyer. Okay, and then save. Now, once I save this, it's done. I can't go back and edit this. It's, so if I messed up, I gotta redo it. So I suggest when you do these, you go in and test your own squeeze page, test your own landing page, and make sure it's working the way you want it to. And when you test it, use an email address and phone number that has nothing to do with your kvCore account so that it works properly. All right. So we created the landing page. You should try to create a squeeze page, and we can post those. But before we go further, there's some more things we need to do to the campaign now that we've thought this through a bit. And what do we need to do? We need to make sure that campaign that we have is going to trigger when it sees that hashtag. So let's go and fix up our campaign. And that's the last thing we really have to do before I just kind of show you how I'm going to post it. All right, so I'm going to go to my marketing. I'm going to go to Smart Campaigns, and we'll find our investor campaign. Now, this is where it gets a little hairy, but it's going to be fine. All right, so here's my investor follow-up campaign, and this is not active yet. When do we want this campaign to go? We want this campaign to go when it sees that certain hashtag. So we're going to post the squeeze page, or we're going to post this landing page. When this squeeze page or landing page get a lead and the lead comes in, that tag investor campaign is going to be added to it. And we want this campaign to run because it sees that hashtag. There's a couple things to know about this. Number one, I can set it up so that this campaign will only trigger if it's a new lead. So if this lead is never registered on my website before, then and they are a buyer, and they so either they looked at that squeeze page with all the lists of properties, or they looked at the landing page that's going to call them a buyer. If that happens, they're going to get the default buyer campaign. If it does have the hashtag that we just created too, and I set this campaign up with campaign logic to trigger with that hashtag, then it will run. Now, by default, the way your kvCore is set up is this new lead thing we got to pay attention to. If somebody replies to an email, replies to a text, or you contact them, they're no longer going to be called a new lead. They're not going to be an active lead. And then this campaign will turn off because they're just not considered a new lead anymore. So they're not going to get the campaign anymore. So you have to decide if you're okay with that. If you're okay with that, then great. They'll be called a new lead and they'll get the campaign. The other thing that you want to note though, is if you don't want that to happen and you just want them to keep getting those touches, then we can just trigger it with the hashtag and they don't have to be a new lead. What's nice about that too, is that if they're already in your system, they've already registered as a lead on your system, then when if they subscribe to that landing page or they register on your website from that landing page and they're in there already, then that tag will be added and they'll still get the campaign because it's okay if they're not a new lead. Okay, so the way that I like to do it personally is I like to just do it with hashtag. I don't want to worry about if they're a new lead or whatever. If they have this hashtag, then they're going to get this campaign. So that's the way I like to do it. So I'm going to do it that way, investor campaign. So they don't have to be called a new lead. They just have to have this hashtag. Okay, and in this case, when kvCore sees this hashtag, yes, I want that campaign to always run. That means it can override other campaigns no matter what, because of that hashtag. And we're going to get there too. But so I'm going to say, yes, always run when you see this hashtag, and it is for a buyer. And I'm going to add a note here. This is in the description. Triggers when investor campaign is added. Okay. So I just kind of finished that. So now the description is there. I tell myself when it's going to trigger and everything else. What I also want to do, I want to make this campaign active, but before I get done with this campaign logic issue is I also want to make sure that if somebody uses that squeeze page or that landing page, that they're not going to also get my regular buyer campaign. I don't want them to get my default buyer campaign on top of this one. I want them to get just this campaign if this tag is added. So how do I do that? Well, I go to my default buyer campaign. So I'm going to go to my new default buyer campaign. If you guys got my setup, it's going to say something like new lead buyer presto. And that's the active one, then that's what you're using. But this is what mine is. It's the new default buyer campaign. This is what I use for everything. And I need to add a trigger to this campaign to tell it that it cannot run if it sees that hashtag, because I only want the custom campaign to run. So I'm going to go into the new default buyer campaign. I'm going to add a trigger. So the trigger I'm going to add is, hey, kvCore, when you get a new lead for a buyer, I want you to go ahead and run. And you can run if the hashtag is not investor campaign. If the hashtag is not investor campaign, then you go on with your bad self and you can run. But if it's investor campaign, you can't run. So now we have set up our campaign logic so that the default buyer campaign will not run if it sees that hashtag. Only this campaign will run if it sees the hashtag, because that's when it's going to start, and the campaign's active and we're good. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and post and share our stuff on Facebook, because that's what I said I was going to do on Facebook for that squeeze page. That landing page I can post anywhere I want. First, I'm going to post the squeeze page. And I'm just going to do it right here. Boom. So I'm going to say, wow, great opportunity for investors and flippers. And I'm gonna put in some emojis here like, wow, this is amazing. Okay. And then 3-bed, 1.5 bath in Sparta, listed for $69,900. And then I'm gonna find it. What's it? What's like another one like that's or something, or wow. I'm looking for like a wow face. Oh yeah, okay. All right. And then I have to follow my compliance and say who did this. So it's Midwest Properties. I don't know, powered by okay. Follow the link for details and to schedule, okay, for details. And then listed by, boop, because I have to do that for my compliance in my state. I don't know what you guys got to do in your states. I know what I got to do in mine. All right, so something like that, and now I'm good. Now I can post it. Now I can boost it, but this isn't a boosting class. I've got that if you need it. So I can post it, I can boost it, I can share it to groups, wherever I think this will get me some likes. And I'll go ahead and click share because I do have a couple groups I can add it to. So let's see, Nuevo County, let's see, West Michigan, Lakeshore. I'm going to add it to that. So I'm sharing this to groups right now where I think it's okay to share. So I'm sharing it to real estate groups.